Worthy by Design. Hello there, it is such a delight that you joined us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I'm Ibera Chims. Welcome. Now, giving back is one of the noblest of causes, and everyone has something to give, no matter how little. Hence the focus of our conversation on giving back. Who can give? What can be given? And to whom? These and more are the issues our guest will give perspective to. She is Barrister Prada Uzodinma. She's a legal practitioner and the founder of Prada Uzodinma Law School Scholarship Grants and co-founder the Ability Life Initiative. It is so good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you. Yourself as well.
Okay, so you're a lawyer and you are running two foundations. How do you wear all those caps?
I think it's something that is driven by passion. You know, if you have a passion for something, you're gonna make time for it regardless. You know, and giving back is something that I am very passionate about. You know, having smiles on the people's faces, you know, impacting their lives one way or the other. So that passion is what drives me. Even when I am tired, when I am weak, you know, I remember, okay, this is how this person felt after I had shared this with them or after I had, you know, given something to them. And I think that drives me to an extent.
So will you say that inspired your desire to start the two foundations?
I think my inspiration from the two foundations are quite different.
Okay, please
You know,
share.
in terms of the Prada Uzodinma Law School Scholarship Grants, you know, like you said, I am a lawyer, you know, so I had to go to the Nigerian Law School here to be called to the bar to be able to practice here in Nigeria. You know, and during my time there, you know, I saw that some people had difficulties with paying their fees and, you know, getting the necessary finances required to be able to call to the bar. You know, and I thought, you know what, why not start some kind of initiative where we can actually, you know, prioritize indigent law school students, you know. So I'm not looking at those that have a first class, because I understand that sometimes it might be difficult to, you know, try to sponsor yourself through school and, you know, meet those grades, you know. And there's so many scholarships that actually focus on the first class students and the best, you know. So I wanted mine to be more realistic, more practical, you know. So I did a little research among my friends, among my colleagues, and I thought, you know what, why not start this initiative to just, you know, pay for the tuition fees of those that actually want to call to bar, those that have the passion to become lawyers. You know, I think to an extent that is what inspired it. And then in regards to Tally, the Ability Life Initiative.
But before you get there, how many people have benefited from the law school grant?
Okay, we had our first edition in 2020. We're starting the next one, which is going to be PUSG 2022. Every year has a different hashtag. Last school session year was 2020, 2021, but we just tagged it PUSG 2020. So we were able to sponsor 5 aspiring law school students, you know. And this year for PUSG 2022, the plan is to be able to sponsor, say, 10, 15 more students, or 20 if possible. You know, we can only do as much as we have, and the plan is to be able to do more every year. So this year we're looking at, you know, broadening that spectrum, you know, getting more people involved, and, you know, looking for, if possible, sponsors that can actually say, okay, you know what, I want to come on board and sponsor a student or sponsor 2 students perhaps, you know. So I think so far so good.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So the Ability Life Initiative.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
So the Ability Life Initiative our motto is bridging the gap for persons with disability. You know, moving back to Nigeria, what I saw was that most people that have disabilities, you know, the PWDs, were ignored. That was a sector that was completely ignored, you know, given the difficulties here in Nigeria that an average person faces. You know, you can imagine how more difficult it is for people that actually have disabilities. And not just that, I think when most people think of disabilities, they think about physical disabilities, you know, like someone like, for example, is wheelchair bound, you know, or has some level of paralysis. They don't think, okay, what about the educational disabilities, for example, you know, things like dyslexia, dysgraphia, you know. So the plan is to bridge the gap for persons that have disabilities. We're looking at long-term progress, long-term investments, things that, people can carry on and change the narrative of people that actually have disabilities over time. So I think that lack of, knowledge here in Nigeria, the fact that we're ignored here in Nigeria as well, something that drove me to, found the Ability Life Initiative. So that is so far so good what we've been doing.
So how far have you gone with that?
Regards the Ability Life Initiative, we're yet to actually launch.
Okay.
What we've been doing so far is just have a couple of projects. I mean, last month we had our educational disabilities inclusive training at the government school here in Jabi, not so far away, where we were able to, I think we training about 140 students on what educational disabilities were. Because even me thinking back when I was in school, I had a child that had a disability in school, a classmate, and I always saw how people made fun of him because they did not understand that he had a learning disability, and also in terms of...
And the teachers want to understand too.
Yes, so, the training as well involved staff and students. So we went to teach the teachers how to spot when a child has a disability, and then also teach the children that, when you realize that you might have a disability, how to seek help, things to do to improve yourself as well, whether it means extra lessons or learning in a different type of way, cognitive, something more practical, so stuff like that, And we wanted to be different from like other, foundations that, just come out and share rice, and which is good, because if you don't eat, you cannot stay
to school.
But we wanted to so we're looking at long-term impact, So I think Tally is very broad in the things that we do, but maybe over time I'll let you know about that.
And I must say, all of your initiatives are amazing.
Thank you.
And you're still very young.
Yes.
It looks like when people grow old or are growing old, reality starts to set in. But you're still very young and you're so realistic.
Yes.
How and why?
I don't know.
Okay, so how does this giving back, all of these initiatives, how do they make you feel?
Amazing.
Oh my God.
I think I feel amazing. And when I say amazing, I'm not feeling amazing because of people looking at what I'm doing and saying, oh, she's doing a good job. I'm feeling amazing when I'm on my bed at home, thinking about what we achieved today, how we're able to give back today, how, for example, students now have understood that, okay, the reason why I'm not understanding math as fast as A or B is because I have a learning disability, and I can take the steps to work towards, fixing that learning disability.
And the person is not a write-off.
Yes, so and that is something that we have, which is very bad in Nigeria.
True.
The moment you have a disability, people think you cannot do anything. It's almost like a death sentence, I like to say, which is very harsh on people that have disabilities. I mean, look all over the world. We have people with disabilities that have made great impact, So True. I think opportunities should be given to those that have disabilities, They are not, they should not be pushed aside per se because they have a disability. They should be given those opportunities, to show themselves, show their skills.
And be given extra help.
Exactly. I think it's just, you support them so that they can grow, something as simple as that.
Now, somebody listening to you is wondering why she should give back or he should give back. What would you say to such a person?
In terms of giving back, I don't think there's any, anything set in stone that you must give back. You give back if you want to, if you feel a drive to, if you feel you need to. If you're giving back because maybe you're looking at somebody beside you or any but giving back, over time that deteriorates. The passion to do that deteriorates, and it's, for example, it can be frustrating because I know what we've gone through just, starting this journey. There are places that we've gone to, we've received a resounding no, we've had the doors shut. And the only thing that can drive you then when those doors are being shut is your passion. So if you're giving back because you feel like you just have to and that somebody is giving back, over time you're going to lose interest in that, or you might be giving back in very wrong terms. You might be doing things that are not impactful. Like for us, for example, at Tally, before we do anything, we want to carry out a research, look at the people that actually have those disabilities and ask them, is this what you want? Is this thing going to be beneficial to you? Being very practical in Nigeria, how can we, advance the giving back? So we want to take educated steps. We're not just doing random things. We're doing things that are actually impactful. Like I said, 5, 10 years from now. That is the vision, that is the plan.
So for someone who is wondering why they should give back, they have just found a reason. Looking back, 10 years, 5 years down the line,
Yes.
and how many people you have impacted is enough reason to give back.
Yes.
Amazing. So, for somebody who says, you wanna say you get money, now why they think this kind of thing? Me, I don't get money.
Yes.
What would be your advice to that person?
I can't blame them, right, for thinking in that line. Because the reality of Nigeria is very difficult. You think I haven't even been able to support myself and my family, so why should I, try to support somebody else? But I always say this, or I always like to refer to this quote. If you can't give to 100 people, give one. You understand? And giving back must not be financial.
All right.
I can sit down today here with an elderly lady and she's talked to me through her experiences, her stories. She has impacted my life because I'm going to try and avoid the mistakes she made. She has given back to me in a form or a manner. Giving back must not be financial. For example, we had a program recently at School for the Blind, Jabi. It was a talent show. We just made an avenue. It was on Children's Day, that just passed. We created an avenue for them to be able to come and show us their talents, express themselves, So we didn't have to give back to them, take this 1,000 naira, take this 5,000 naira. It was just showing us that I wanted the whole world to see that people with disabilities can be more. They can do more. And we had different skills, from drama to the French club to the press club, So it's seeing that people with disabilities, if given the opportunity, can do more and can be more. We also had newscasters, reading the news with braille because they can't see. We had dancing, we had singing. It was so many amazing talents, and it was very emotional to watch that. These kids still want to push forward, and all they need is that extra effort, that extra support. So giving back must not be financial. It can be something as little as a story.
So you should just identify a need.
Exactly.
And make sure you give back. Even mentorship is a way of giving back.
Telling people how to go about this, how to do this business, how not to make the mistakes that I've made. Things that you want to do, for example, for your own children. Try and broaden that spectre. Try and impact somebody else's child, because you don't know where that person will be tomorrow.
True.
Or how they will help your child in the future. You'll be no more. You can't live on earth forever.
True.
But if the lessons that you've instilled in people come back to your children, I think that's fantastic.
So is it a good idea to be motivated by the gains? Maybe gains, publicity, and all the paparazzi that comes with giving back. You go to a place and, everybody's snapping, everybody's talking about what you've done and all of that. Should that be a motivating factor? No.
I think point blank period, no. The moment you decide to let all those things get into your head, the flashlight, the media, then you've lost focus. You've lost reason as to why you're giving back. And like I said, the world is very fragile. People that are praising you today doesn't mean that they will curse you. They wouldn't curse you tomorrow. It takes a little mistake. Humans are not perfect. I'm doing amazing today and the media is praising me. It doesn't mean that if I make a mistake or if I slip, they wouldn't, come for me. So that should not be your focus as to why you give back. You should give back because you have a drive, you have a passion, and you want to help.
So for a young lady out there listening to you and wondering, how can my life impact people? I'm still very young, but I want to impact people. I want my life to add value. I want my life to be a blessing. What would you be saying to her?
I think it can be something small as, for example, volunteering to all these organizations or foundations that are actually giving back. Tally itself or PUSG cannot stand alone. Sometimes we reach out to volunteers, to come and help us with this program or come and assist, because we are self-funded. We don't have any money from anywhere. We're doing these things to the limits of our ability. Sometimes we reach out to sponsors, but you know how it is. You can never get as much money as you set out to do. You can only help a certain number of people. So if, for example, you're volunteering, you're raising awareness, spreading the stuff that you're doing, just being active, I guess, in the giving back community, volunteering, helping out, raising awareness, telling people, okay, this foundation is doing this. Things, for example, like the scholarship. If, for example, you're not a lawyer and you have a friend that is a lawyer, just telling them that, okay, there is this scholarship opportunity where you can actually apply to and get your tuition fees paid off if you're aspiring to be called to the Nigerian bar. So you don't actually have to, do anything magnanimous, something great, to feel like you've actually given back. The little steps count and they matter.
The little steps count and they matter. Amazing. We'll go on a very short break. When we return, there's plenty more. Do stay with us.
Crossfire is a program that treats controversial topics on diverse issues surrounding the family, church, and society.
Does it mean if a woman now prays with her hair uncovered, God will not honor the prayer?
Should single ladies ask single guys out on a date?
It's not a sign of desperation. It's you knowing what you want and going for it.
Okay.
You can't tell me that comedy in the church is wrong.
Written by
If you go through our Church of Nigeria hymn now, you will see so many hymns written by Nigerians.
You know, a man is seeing something here, he's going for something else. Men are confused.
That's why I said you have to help them out.
We are saying something.
Okay.
Sir, can you stop a bird from flying?
Depending.
But we are not instituting, we are forgiven.
No, you have forgiven,
Yes.
but that forgiveness amounts to a criminal offense.
How?
Hold on.
That's
Section
one.
7.
My brother,
Anybody can bring
if
it.
the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? It matters, so.
No, I'm not saying nobody is destroying any foundation here.
Welcome back to the show. We have been talking with the beautiful Prada Uzodinma. If you've missed any part of this conversation, please do well to go back and listen. We have talked about a lot, and trust me, it will be beneficial. Okay, so we had been talking about giving back.
Yes.
Were there times you felt like, Kai, I can't do this anymore?
100% yes. You know, several times. You know, sometimes when you even wake up, you're like, let me just rest today. You know, why should I even do this when it seems like people don't appreciate your efforts, you know, stuff like that. So like I was saying, during the pandemic, when we had the lockdown, you know, we had a particular, I wouldn't mention the place, you know, a particular drive at a place, you know, to share relief materials, you know, things from hand sanitizers, face masks, you know, to support people, or food items, you know, because I think the markets were short and stuff like that. And on getting there, people mistook our identity for somebody else, I would say, you know, and there was a lot of hugging, tugging, you know, hustling for the items. And I just felt like, you know what, get in the car, let's be going back to our houses, because we're putting ourselves at risk.
True.
You know, there was a pandemic, and when you get to those parts of the country, people don't understand that there's a pandemic. Even half of the people didn't believe that the pandemic was even real, you know. So you that are concerned about the pandemic, you're putting yourself at risk, and you're also trying to prevent yourself from, you know, coming in contact with the virus. So there are so many days, or even, for example, when we try to go to the ministries, you know, to get them to enforce the Disability Rights Act, things as little as having accessible toilets, you know, ramps for those that have mobility issues, or, you know, employing persons with disabilities in the organizations, you know. It's almost a big slap, you know, look at Nigeria. So there's so many ignorant views from the majority of those people, and there are so many no's, you know. So times like that, when you keep on getting no's and, you know, everything seems against you, you feel like giving up.
Yeah.
But like I said, passion, you know, that is why passion must drive you, you know. The moment you're driven by something else that is not passion, you would lose focus or you would stop, you know, because it's hard to keep on going in the face of, you know, so many no's, per se.
You have talked about the role of the ministries, the government, and all of the agencies, right? How else can they be of help to people like you who are trying to give back?
Yes. So, I mean, for example, when we were starting the Ability Life Initiative, part of the things that we sought to do was to help government agencies, bilateral and multilateral organizations to implement the Disability Rights Act. You know, the Act also calls for a commission, you know, the establishment of a commission to also help in emancipating the Act, you know, what the Act says. And it's been very difficult because, you know, we have things like, okay, the person that was in charge of this has run away with the funds that have been approved for it, per se, or there's no known address. You may even trying to reach out to some certain commissions, you know, that have come out publicly to say they were government agencies or government bodies that were set out to actually help persons with disabilities. Some of them don't exist. On the face of it, there's no address, there's no person actually in charge of that. So, I mean, those are the issues that we face, you know, and it's just ridiculous that people don't consider how important it is to actually support persons with disabilities, and they feel like, running away with the funds approved is, those are things that should be on your conscience as a human being. Some things that you should not be able to do. You standing here today could be faced with disability.
True.
Some disabilities are hidden for years and they just spring up on you.
True.
So I mean, we have a lot of, educating to do, a lot of, so many things that we can do for persons with disabilities if we have support from government agencies, if we have support from these organizations that are actually mandated, to help persons with disabilities.
So they'll make your job easier.
A lot easier.
I'll go back to your first outing. How did you feel? The fact that you had made a decision to give back and you went on your first outing. How did you feel?
I'm trying to think back to the first thing that I did before we launched the Ability Life Initiative was the scholarship grant. I think it was so amazing when we actually had the applicants get into the law schools and they kept on saying, "Oh, thank you so much." For example, there was an applicant that was on his last leap or last year. So if he wasn't accepted into the law school this year, he was never going to become a lawyer. And he shared a very passionate story, because I myself am not a judge for the scholarship grant. I try to pull myself away, because what we get is that so many people know that, okay, I'm the founder of the scholarship grant. So when it opens, I have, for example, my DMs full with so many sub-stories, some of them fraudulent, because they think that you're going to, maybe credit the money to their account or something like that. So I try to remove myself from that situation and put actual judges, which we actually, at the end of each cycle, say, okay, these were your judges for the year, and we change those judges every year, just to create transparency, or stuff like that. So when those students actually got into the law schools, and I mean, I think it was very emotional for me. I was not even in the country, but some of them were writing to me, saying that, "Oh, thank you for believing in me and giving me an opportunity, considering that I didn't have a first class, or there was somebody that, did better than me academically, but you still chose, to give me that opportunity." So I think I slept well that night. I just felt really good, and really happy with myself.
I can imagine. So this scholarship grant, is it open to people from a section of the country or everywhere?
It's open to all aspiring indigent law school students. So we're looking at those that cannot actually afford the fees. So our focus is on indigent aspiring law students all across Nigeria, regardless of wherever you are in Nigeria or whatever law school that you get posted to. As long as you're applying to the law school and you're indigent, you might stand a chance to win the scholarship.
Okay, and the payment is made
directly to the law school.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. You're doing a great work. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about your mental and physical health. How does your daily giving back impact that?
In terms of mental and physical health, I mean, sometimes it can be exhausting physically, because you're trying to do so much at a time. And I can't do it by myself. I'm very grateful to the amazing team that I have behind me. People that actually believe in the vision that you're trying to impact people's lives and want to actually support that. And I'm grateful to the volunteers that come up when we have different projects. It takes a group, it takes teamwork to achieve what you plan to achieve. So I'm grateful to all those people, because I can't do it alone. That is why I was saying some things about having the government agencies come on board supporting us, having those large multi-sectoral organizations coming on board to support us. It means a lot. It makes you feel appreciated and like people actually want to help, towards your vision and towards your goal.
The fact that you're a lady,
yes,
has that had any impact on the pursuit of Tally and PUSG?
Of course, yes. Back to that same community that we went to. The fact that I was a lady, I was not allowed to speak to the elders. So I had to get a male assistant of mine from the team to address the elders. We go to...
In 2020?
Yes. We go to certain communities where, they still have those ideologies, those mentalities. And because we know why we are here, we try to bend to those rules. After I've been like, okay, you know what? I'm going home with my goods. I'm going somewhere else where I can speak as a lady. I mean, that was very insulting in 2020 that women still don't have voices in places like that. So I brought him up, he spoke, and they were like, okay, give us the items first before you go to the communities. I mean, normal Nigerian way, you know how it is. So, I mean, sometimes it can be very discouraging, but passion drives you, and so I just keep on going regardless. Even as a lady, for PUSGs, in courts, for example, lawyers like us are still fighting for terms such as, my lord, me lord, should it be gentlemen at the bar or should it be ladies at the bar? We still have those somewhat derogatory terms that we're still trying to, change, but we just keep on pushing regardless,
So the fact that one is a lady or is a particular gender should not deter you from pursuing your purpose?
It cannot, because even as a lady, even in my legal career, how I'm still pushing, how I'm still trying to advance myself, even as a young lawyer, that's another thing, right? Regardless of how many no's I get, I still try to push and to show that I am capable. I know it's very difficult that sometimes you have to always, as a lady, show that you're capable compared to your male, counterparts, but that is the movement. That is what we're fighting today, so that our kids don't have to go through that same battle. We're trying to show men and society that women have what it takes, to call the shots as well. Women have what it takes to drive their passion, to go for their goals, So fight the battle today, so that tomorrow you don't have to keep on fighting the battle. And things have changed, I can't say that how it was before is how it is now. For example, we have some states that have accelerated the law where females can now inherit properties, and that was like almost an abomination back then, So I think there has been a gradual change because of the voices that we're pushing, because of the fights that we're, pushing forward, So with time, I guess, I think it's a gradual process. Change isn't constant, it's constantly evolving.
Let's talk about self-development for the lady. Okay. Let's focus on the lady. Let's talk about self-development. How can that impact on your desire to give back?
I think as a human being, or as a lady, as a mother, as a sister, as a friend, you have to constantly seek to develop yourself. Sitting out here, I know during the lockdown, so many people were just bored of being in the house. I used the opportunity to go through several leadership courses, several opportunities to grow myself as an individual. When it comes to interacting with people, difficult customers, difficult clients, no matter what about industry you are in, I think you have to constantly develop yourself. Even in the giving back community, where, for example, you're faced with situations where you can't speak as a woman, it takes patience to be able to go through that, some level of development. You have to train yourself to be able to say, okay, even if these people are throwing insults in my face, I know why I'm here. The point of it all is achieving what you came for, So I think it takes some level of development to be able to do things like that, And if you don't do things like that, you end up losing the motivation and losing the reason for why you're there in the first place.
What value has this added to you as a person?
I don't even think I can pinpoint one thing that is done for me. The fact that I can give back and impact several people, it brings me some level of peace and comfort. As a human being, I think it taught me patience, understanding. It taught me that people sometimes might not understand what you're trying to do for them until it's actually done, So there's a lot of lessons that we learn on the road or on the journey towards giving back, and those lessons I cannot, I'm very appreciative of those lessons, because if I wasn't in this field of giving back, perhaps I might not have learned it the way I did, So I think great values, very encouraging values as well.
Now, should one's environment, or should a lady, we're focusing on ladies, so I'm unapologetic about that. Should her environment limit her?
I don't even think the question is, should it be a limitation? If, for example, you're still struggling to take care of yourself, or your parents are still struggling to, take and provide for you, that is a limitation. Now, the question comes is, how do you deal with those limitations as a lady? Okay, my parents are struggling to provide for me, and I'm thinking of giving back. Okay, if I can't give back financially, how else can I give back? If I can't provide, for example, rice or materials to people, how else can I impact the community? Could it be something small as, for example, because we have like online seminars where we educate people on right terminologies to refer to people that have disabilities with. Even I've met so many learned people, that refer to people as disabled person. No, it's never right to refer to a person as a disabled person, because when you're doing that, you're putting their disability before the person. So we refer to them as persons with disabilities, PWD. So we hold so many online classes on that. So even if now I was a lady that couldn't financially help somebody, and I was fortunate enough to be on board that online class, and just tell the next person when they say disabled person that, oh, this is not how you refer to someone that has a disability. You must say person with disability rather than disabled person. That is something. You're giving back to that person. You've exposed them, and you don't know how many other people they will go, to impact with that knowledge. So there are different ways of giving back, different ways that you can be part of the giving back community. It doesn't have to be financial. I think that is the most important thing.
Okay. The other part of that question, angle to that question is, I am not from a wealthy background, right? Things have been so difficult where I'm coming from. It's not even about giving back now. I don't even know where to start with my life. In fact, I'm not even starting, right? That is somebody's mindset. Should that lady hold on to that as her excuse or as an alibi?
No. I mean, something as little as volunteering, it doesn't even have to be my own foundation or initiative. It could be something you feel you're passionate about. You know, whether it's maybe, for example, organizations that are built to cater to those that have cancer, organizations that are built to cater for those that are stranded, immigrants that are stranded on the borders of Africa. It could be anything you're passionate about. Volunteering to those organizations, lending your skills, your support, you know. It doesn't have to be financial, you know.
So you should see yourself like somebody who has value
Exactly.
to
Every
offer.
human being has a value to offer. You have something within you that distinguishes you from somebody else. How can you bring that thing into somebody else's organization or your own organization for starters, you know? If you don't start your own organizations or be part of one, lend your voice to another organization, support, help, reach out to those people. It means a lot.
And by that, you gain experience.
You do.
And you're able to do something bigger in future.
You gain experiences, you gain skill, you even gain networking opportunities.
Important.
You don't know who you'd meet on this journey, you know, that might help your life today or benefit you in one way or the other, you know. So
Please talk
so
a
many
little more
values.
about that networking opportunity in this field of giving back.
Yes, I mean, I know that I couldn't do some things alone. So we had to like partner with other organizations, other bodies, you know. We had to like, in some instances, write out to the UN, okay, look at, this is what we're doing. You know, I've had opportunities where I've been able to, you know, come in contact with them. Even UNESCO, we held like, in partnership with UNESCO, we had like a parasoccer event for those that had some kind of disability on their legs, and they had a parasoccer event to just show that, okay, we want to also push the idea of parasoccer to the Olympics. You know, we want ideas like that to, you know, be brought forward. You know, and there, for example, I was able to meet the chairman of UNESCO, the protocol officer, and he was amazed by what we were doing. You know, he thought it was really great. You know, he uploaded our foundation. I thought, you know what, why don't you write out to us and tell us how can we partner? How can we bring other sponsors to also partner with your ideas? So
Amazing.
you don't know who you meet on your journey of giving back. You know, there are people that can actually help you, even not in giving back, but other ways as well, through their experiences, through their network, and through their lessons as well. So I think there's so many advantages of giving back that cannot be denied.
Okay, as we wrap up, can you tell us a few more advantages, the ones you've enjoyed from giving back?
I think my own advantages are more personal in terms of how it makes me feel, you know, and stuff like how it makes me feel, you know, at peace, you know, when I'm going to bed at night, when I'm thinking how I've impacted this person. But I cannot deny having come across some top, you know, organizations, you know, that people only dream of meeting. You know, it's our top people that actually come out to give back through their own way or through their own organization. I've met a couple of those, and we've done some wonderful partnerships. We also have some in work, you know, for the future as well, you know. So those are the advantages, you know, aside all the other things, maybe like the media publicity that people think that, oh, she's giving out to the ball. I don't consider those things as advantages, because I feel like it's here tomorrow, I might not be here tomorrow, but the impact you've made on a person's life will always be there.
Remain, yes. Okay, so as we round up, can you tell the viewer out there how they can access the scholarship grants for PUSG? Okay, so every year what we try to do at PUSG is to open up the moment the Nigerian Law School opens up the application portals. Okay. You know, and we have a website for that, which is www.principallegalconsult.com/scholarship. You know, so you go on there, you apply for the scholarship, and it is absolutely very random. You know, there's all we need to see is that you have a passion for wanting to become a lawyer. There's no lobbying.
There's no lobbying. You don't even know who the judges are this year.
No man, no man.
No matter how you brush me on the road and tell me that, please pay my this today. I mean, I'm not even a part of the process when it comes to judging, you know. So it's just putting yourself out there and being as honest as possible. And you don't know what that would offer you tomorrow, you know. So just apply on the website. I'll say it again. www.principallegalconsult.com/scholarship. Okay. You know, as for Tally as well, we have a website which is diabetilive.org. You know, you can also go on there and volunteer on one of our projects or upcoming programs to see how you can help and be a part of the community. Okay, amazing work. As we go, I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't want to go, but we have to go.
What is your advice to the lady out there who is listening to you and is like, I want to be like you? What should you be saying to her?
I hope I've been able to inspire them. You know, I hope that I've been able to, in a way of form, you know, work your mind to see that it doesn't take finances to give back. It takes more than that sometimes. It takes your opportunities, your experiences, you know. Any little thing that you can do is valuable to the next person. Just put yourself out there. You know, so that's my advice to every lady looking at me. I'm not perfect myself. I'm still learning, you know, so put yourself out there. You would make mistakes. You'd have some achievements. It's all a process.
Just put yourself out there. You make mistakes, you have some achievements. But trust me, something good will come out of it. You've seen something good has come out of her, Abby. She's very beautiful. That's how people who give back look. All right. Someone once said, we make a living by what we get, but make a life by what we give. Giving back makes life worth living for not just the giver, but the receiver. Will you take that bold step today and leave the thicker footprints in the sands of time? Do that little. It will go a long way. A big thank you to our beautiful guest, Barrister Prada Uzadima.
Thank you.
Remember, you're supposed to share Prada. All right. So viewers, do join us again next week, same time, same station, for another thought-provoking edition of the show. Remember, you are worthy by design. I'm Ibera Chims.